Hello guys, I'm happy to see all of you here today and welcome to our live webinar. I hope you are doing well and that you are ready for our webinar today. So let's not waste any minute and start. And today our webinar is going to be about BAIN first round interview simulation. And this webinar will be by our consulting masters, by our career coaches, Andre Homulenko and Gaurav Bhosle. And I want to talk about our content of today's webinar. We will start from format and rules. Then we will make an introduction and tell you more about our team for today and about our company. Then we will start our interactive case interview simulation. And after this, you will be able to hear feedback from our experts, Gaurav and Andre. And in the end, you will hear some conclusion and bonus materials. Yeah, so speaking about format and rules, the duration of our webinar is going to be 2 hours, and we will start with introduction, and it is going to be 25 minutes. After this will be interactive interview simulation, approximately 1 hour, and after this we will hear feedback from our coaches, and then will be bonuses for those who will stay with us until the end. And I want to ask you, please mute till the end and turn your camera off during the simulation, so we will not interrupt our participants and will not disturb them. And as I said, that those who will stay with us until the end will receive all the bonus materials and special offer for the first session with our coaches. So please stay with us until the end and you will receive very useful and helpful bonuses for your preparation. And now I want to introduce you our team for today's webinar. Yes, so my name is Alina and I'm client manager at Consulting Masters. And I will be a moderator of our today's webinar. And now I want to introduce you Michel. Michel, hello. Thank you a lot for your time and that you spent this time with us. And thank you a lot for your help. Can you please introduce yourself?
Yes, of course. Thank you, Alina, for your time. It's a pleasure to be with you all today. So basically, I'm an engineer by formation. I have more than 20 years of experience as a business developer. I have done an MBA with a double concentration in strategy and finance. I worked in different industries as a project manager, but also as a general manager in my last endeavor, in my last established company. So I do have also an international experience.
Okay, great. Thank you a lot, Michel. And now I want to introduce you our career coach, Gaurav. Gaurav, hello. Can you please tell us about yourself?
Thanks, Alina, and thanks everyone for making it. It's so great to have you among us, and hopefully we'll be able to add a lot of value for the next 2 years. So I'm basically from India. I did my engineering and while working in technology, had a couple of startups in the technology space, did my MBA and ended up joining McKinsey in Frankfurt. Like 6 years after that, I worked across 20 odd countries across the world in strategy consulting till 2014. I decided that what I did, I would love a lot of you to do. Yeah, so I got into coaching, and now I'm into consulting readiness coaching with more than 500 people from my side, having already joined McKinsey, BCG, BAIN. In fact, one of the clients is joining BAIN London in just the next few days. Yeah. So I love this area. I love coaching, and I would love to see all of you, achieving your dream job in consulting and whatever we can help you with. Yeah, we are there for you. Yeah. Hopefully you will enjoy the webinar, and I'll get an opportunity to work with each and every one of you. Thank you.
Thank you a lot, Gaurav. And now I want to give words to our second career coach, Andre. Andre, hi, can you please tell us about yourself?
Hi, Alina. Thank you very much for this brief introduction. And hi, everyone, to every one of the participants. Welcome on board into our next webinar session. Just maybe to give you a brief introduction, I'm also a former consultant. I used to work for more than 6 years in different companies in consulting. I'm born Ukrainian, and I came as a foreigner to Germany back in 2008. And for me, it was also pretty challenging post-financial crisis to break into the consulting industry. Especially, given the language barrier in German. Nevertheless, I made it, and I was very privileged to having accomplished more than 30 projects in 10 different countries, in Western Europe, in Central Europe, in DACH region, as well as Eastern Europe. In fact, my second project assignment, as I was an intern at Rollenberger back in 2010, was helping Russia to prepare and host Winter Sochi Olympic Games. And this is how I became so excited about this career track. And I decided that this is exactly the right thing for me to do after my studies and graduation. And therefore, I started my career as full-time back in 2013. And since then, I've been working also across the globe, spending also a couple of years in Dubai, Middle East. And then 2 years back, we decided to take another step and move back from the Middle East to Europe, where we are currently living in Bern, in Switzerland. And therefore, since 2013, it has been my pleasure to help people. First of all, it all started with a couple of my friends whom I helped to get into consulting. And over the past 8 years, together with Gaurav, we have helped more than 150 people to get into McKinsey, BCG, and BAIN, as well as more than 400 other people to get some job offers with other leading consulting firms like Rollenberger, Strategy, and Kearney, Oliver Wyman. I'm also very excited to share about Carl's experience of working with us. And just in the next couple of days, we will be welcoming another 4 mentees of us joining into different consulting companies worldwide. So therefore, please use this time effectively to get to know how consulting works, how the consulting interviews are conducted with one of the leading consulting firms with the BAIN. The simulation will be pretty tough and very realistic. Feel free also to use the chat function in that webinar to post your questions. After the simulation, we will be also trying our best to answer most of your questions before we proceed with the bonus materials, and also stay with us until the very end, because we also have prepared some special offers for you. So the whole team of consulting masters, our clients and our coaches, Gaurav, myself, we are welcoming you for this webinar. Herzlich willkommen, добро пожаловать, and we wish you to enjoy it fully and make the best use of it. So let the show begin. So maybe just to give you also some of the background, how our company helps you we rather follow the all-round approach. So we help you along the entire application journey. Because nowadays, one of the first challenges is to even get the interview invite. So therefore, we help you starting from the setting the right objectives and helping you to define what is the right company for you to apply to. Then we also help you to prepare and polish your documents, because consulting CVs and cover letters should be written in a specific way. And you probably have heard that most of the companies are now using AI systems in order to outscreen for possible candidates. So just to provide you some of the statistics, for example, McKinsey last year have received only in Germany more than 12,000 applications, and only about 200 people were taken, which means that the exception rate is about 1.5%. So therefore, we help those people to become one of those very, very few candidates who will get those offers. We also provide the support through networking, since together with Gaurav, we have been working in consulting for more than 12 years in different regions, in Europe, in Middle East, in Africa, in Southeastern Asia. And we have also helped more than 500 different candidates to get the offers over the past 8 years. And this kind of network we are using nowadays in order to help our current and our future clients to get referred and to get accepted into those firms, to get basically invited. And then, of course, we help you along the entire preparation cycle to prepare yourself for the tests, and to pass the first interview round, which we are going to simulate today with BAIN, then to pass the second interview round, and to pass the final interview round together with partners until you will get your offer. But even after that, like getting an offer and going into consulting is just the beginning of the journey. What is really critical is how to become a successful consultant on its own, because getting an offer is just a start of your journey, and work in consulting is extremely demanding on the one side, but could be also extremely rewarding. So therefore, we also help our students to become those star consultants, because we have been star consultants on our own. And generally, if you imagine that 10 colleagues are joining the firm in one batch, 2 or 3 of them will definitely need to be leaving the company within the next 6 to 12 months. So they will not pass their probation period. The majority will be promoted, like 5 to 6 or 8 people will be promoted to the next grade and become senior consultants after 18 or 24 months. And maybe only 1 candidate out of 10, or maybe even 1 out of 20, will become on the fast track to their career. So will be promoted faster than 12 months. From my personal experience, I can tell you that with Rollenberger, I was promoted after the first 5 months, which is considered to be extremely fast and something unique. Something I don't know any other person who has done that kind of career progression so fast, because after first promotion, I also got a second promotion after 12 months, and so on and so on. And I was just able to reach this acting project manager level in 30 months. And by comparison, all my peers took between 4 years to 6 years to do the same. So therefore, we have also designed a special program which helps our candidates to become those star consultants. So even before joining the firm, you will be equipped with the knowledge from our side, which will help you to manage yourself, to manage the others, the clients, and also your peers, your managers, and your mentor. Something which is extremely important because those two people will actually decide on your future promotion and your future career projection. And within the company, you will be able to build up a very solid reputation very quickly. So therefore, we help you with decision-making for going for the right firm and also onboarding and your career growth, as well as we provide you the access to more than to our former clients and to our contacts who will become your network, and you can fully leverage all those services to your best advantage. I think that for now, if we go on the next page, I will basically recommend you to use this chance, get in touch with our company after that webinar, and use this webinar to learn as much as possible. I think that I have now spoken more than enough, and I would basically ask our current clients who are available in the chat, Ahmed Shamsuddin, Ali Bakhizadeh, Coral Saliba, whom else do I see in the chat? Michel, Mark, Omar, and everyone else who is here. Sachin, could you please also turn on your cameras, Thomas, and maybe talk a little bit about your experience? Who would like to start?
Yeah, I'll start happily. Hello, everyone. Hope everybody's having a great day. Thanks for having me today. So a bit about me. I graduated in 2017 with a degree in electrical engineering, and I've been working for the past 3 to 4 years here in Ecuador. However, with everything that's been going on in the world, I thought a career change is a good idea right now. So I decided to apply to consulting, but I decided too late, so I had 2 to 3 weeks to prepare. On top of that, I don't come from from a target school, so I applied to only one firm, which was Oliver Wyman. So I had one shot to get the job. Otherwise, I'm gonna stay where I am. So I reached out to Andre, actually, and we had our first session. I think one day before my interview. Was shaky. I had zero confidence. He helped simulate he helped me understand what an actual what the process will be, and really put me in that mindset of being able to do well, and I did. A few months we stayed in touch throughout the process. A few months later, I had reached the partner rounds, and it was a very long process. So by that time, I had practiced so much, and I think the first time I was underconfident, and this time I was overconfident. So I booked another session just because I wanted to make sure I got the job. And I think Andre saw that I was overconfident. He gave me the hardest case I've solved, and I couldn't solve it actually. So it was a good way to put my feet back on the ground and understand that I need to keep on working hard and to get the job. And I did, thankfully. And as soon as I heard, I reached out and I asked him I had 3 months left to join the firm, and I asked if there's anything I can do to start preparing. So that's where I met Gaurav, and from there we've been going through the whole preparation process and how to enter with the best mindset, with the best preparation. I can't speak highly enough. The preparation has been amazing. The approach has been amazing. They're great people and even better professionals. I'm grateful, and I hope everybody here gets the chance to work with them, because it got me what I want. So I hope it does the same for everyone. Thanks.
So hi everyone. So basically, my name is Mark Tairouz. I'm an engineer, petroleum engineer. So I decided to change career and move to consulting. So I first decided to do it by myself. I logged into this website, My Consulting Coach, and I was solving a lot of cases with people my level, lower level, higher level. And I did a lot of interviews with BCG, with Oliver Wyman, with A.T. Kearney, but I was struggling at some point in the final round. So I decided that I need help from professionals, and Omar recommended me the André. So I had this call with Andre, and he was convincing. So I took the VIP program, which is they will follow you until you get the job offer. So honestly, I've been with them for like 2 weeks, I guess. And the things that I learned, I've been studying since September. So the thing that I learned in the last 2 weeks, I feel they are way worth more than what I've been learning by myself since September. Like the structure, everything. Like these two coaches really helped me all the way. And like every week, every 2 days, we have a call, we have a group call, we solve cases, one-on-one sessions with them. Today with Gaurav was really interesting and very helpful. I do recommend everyone who want to go into consulting to invest a little bit because you will see the result, in my opinion. Thank you, guys.
Thank you very much. Yeah, Mark, Carl, by the way, have you spoken about your experience as a get ready for the first 100 days as well?
I mean, a bit. I didn't want to take too much time.
Okay.
But yeah, it's been amazing. We've been going session by session through every step of what I expect to happen during the first 100 days, or maybe the first year or two, and how to make sure I get a fast career growth. Make sure I get a good growth out of my career and get what I want, and manage expectations, and also manage everyone around me. It's been great.
Yeah, thank you very much for this appreciation. And Mark, also thank you very much for your kind words. Omar, can you also maybe share your experience and the reason why you recommended our services to two of your good friends?
Yeah. So, hello everyone. I hope you're doing well and you're staying safe. So, to tell you a bit about myself, I'm a civil engineer. I've been working in the industry for around 2 years, and for the past while I've been preparing with consulting masters to switch into strategy consulting in the Middle East in particular. So Carl and Mark went over a lot of things, but what I like to add is that every aspect and every skill is focused on, from polishing your documents, the networking experience, which is something really important, the fit part of the interview, the case part, like everything, not to mention the emotional support and the motivation along the way. So I think this is really important because in these times especially, like consulting has always been hard to get into. And nowadays opportunities are less than before, competition is actually fierce, so you have to differentiate yourself and master like all the skills that really matter to land a job in consulting. So that's professionally. Personally, you're part of the community. It's a small family where everyone's working together, motivating each other. Like even when we're not in session with Andre or Gaurav, we always practice together. For example, me, Mark, and Ahmed have like sessions every day or two where we give feedback to each other and practice together. Not to mention the motivation, of course, when every one of us, like every member of the community would get an offer, it would motivate everyone else to go for it. So yeah, it has been a great experience up until now. And if any of you guys have any questions or concerns, want to know more about my experience, like feel free to reach out on LinkedIn or anything. Like I'm happy to help with everything that I can. And yeah, like I can keep going all day, but I don't want to waste a lot of time. So overall, great experience, and it's highly recommended.
Yeah, thank you very much, Omar. Is anyone else wants to speak before we move to the next one?
Yes, André, I can speak about my own experience with you.
Yeah, sure, absolutely.
Yes. So basically, I am an entrepreneur. Last year, I had 3 years of operating my own company, but unfortunately, with COVID-19, I was forced to close my company, and I was a bit lost about what I'm going to do next. And I thought about consulting, so I started to apply to consulting, and fortunately, I got to have an interview with McKinsey for the Paris office, which is exactly in 1 month from now. And I touched base with André, and I went for the VIP program, basically because the opportunity is so much important for my career that investing now is the right choice to do. And I've been with the guys, with Gaurav and André, for the last 2 weeks, and the learning curve has been exponential. I've done cases a long time ago. I've heard about the cases. You can go on YouTube, you can go on the Google. They explain you, but it's nothing with to compare with people who've been there, who are coaching you, who are going into details in every single aspect of how to communicate, how to present your structure, how to do your conclusion. And also, as the guys said, we are leveraging each other within the group. We're doing cases on the side. So all that, it's for now, for the last 2 weeks, it's an amazing experience. And I would advise anyone who is really serious about going into consulting, which is not easy and which is a really career-changing move, to go for this program with André and Gaurav. So that would be my little pitch for you guys.
Merci, Michel. Thank you very much for sharing your experience. So thank you very much, guys, for joining the webinar. And now let's basically begin with the key simulation. So if we move on the next page, today we have asked Michel, one of our clients, to play the role of the candidate, because he will be in a similar situation just in a month from now, where he will be interviewing with one of the leading firms, and we are currently preparing. So you have the unique opportunity to be part of that simulation. It will be very real. Gaurav will be playing the interviewer, since Gaurav has already helped multiple candidates to get into BAIN. We both are extremely familiar with what are the requirements, and they will basically simulate the first natural interview round, starting with a quick introduction at the very beginning, then some personal fit, motivational questions, some behavioral stories, as well as case, of course. And then Michel, as a candidate, can ask Gaurav at the end a couple of questions about his personal experience with BAIN, or about the company and culture, etc. And you are encouraged to crack those interview, and especially the case, together with us. Because if Michel would be struggling, we'll be also providing the chance to you to jump into and maybe to help him out. So feel free to use the chat to provide your solutions, your questions, your clarifying questions, or your structure, to discuss it with us, to also share it with us, so that we can have a really fruitful discussion. And also, after the personal feed part and after the case, we will be also providing the intermediate feedback to Michel, in order to raise the points which were good and which could and should be improved. And feel free to also raise your points as a feedback, so that we have a very interactive and fruitful discussion today. All right. So basically, before we start, I just want to, this is the first webinar for Michel to be exposed. So I actually would like to ask you to encourage Michel a little bit. Michel might be a little bit nervous because he doesn't know other 40 guys who are just watching right now. So guys, could you please turn on your cameras and simply give him an applause and cheer him up? So please. Michel, go, go, go.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
You definitely make it. So now I would like to ask every one of you to go on mute, except of Gaurav and Michel, and also to turn off your cameras. And I wish you both guys good luck. I will be your assessor, your interviewer. I will provide the feedback for the later on. But now I leave the stage up to you guys both. So best of luck and see you soon. And everyone else, please feel free to use the chat to raise your questions and any doubts. See you then.
Okay, Michel. So let's assume that you are in BAIN Paris. Yeah, given that you are interviewing with MBB in Paris, let's simulate a BAIN Paris case.
Perfect.
Okay?
Yep.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay, Michel. Welcome to BAIN. How are you doing today?
I'm doing fine. Hello, Gaurav. How are you? It's a pleasure to meet you today.
Pleasure to meet you too. Yeah. So, Michel, why don't you briefly tell me about yourself?
Yes, of course. So I'm an engineer by formation. I have completed my studies with an MBA with a double concentration in strategy and finance. I'm an experienced professional with 20 years behind me, with 4 years specifically as an engineer. I'm a very curious person and have a passion for value creation and innovation. I have worked as a project manager in many different industries, but also I worked as the general manager during my last position in the company I established, all that with an international experience. As a leader, agile leader, a transformational leader, I stimulate growth by motivating my teams. I love to build consensus between decision makers. I love to motivate and lead my teams within a collaborative and trustful environment, all that to reach the set targets within a shared sense of values and objectives. I am used to deal and participate and engage stakeholders at different levels, would that be at the board level or at the executive level. And finally, I always try to update myself on professional education. I'm a very curious person, so I always try to upgrade myself. And I wanted to ask you, is there anything specific about my education or my professional experience would like me to go more deep into?
Not really at this stage. Why don't you tell me why at this stage of your career you are interested in consulting?
All right, so I'm going to tell you a little story about me. So basically, during my last experience, I'm very proud about my leadership and about my creativity, especially during my last position as a general manager of Desert Growth. But unfortunately, with the COVID-19, I was forced to close my company during the last quarter of last year. And to tell you the truth, I felt myself a bit lost. So I did a lot of research in the market of what would be my different options. And I had an epiphany of looking at consulting in general. And I did some research and I spoke with a couple of friends working in the consulting field. And I found that they're very passionate and they're very happy in that field. And from my discussion with them, I concluded there's 3 different reasons why I want to do consulting. The first reason is that there's a very diversified set of industries and practices into which I can apply my skills. The second reason is I can bring my leadership and my transformational skills with the big impacts to very big companies that are tackling very big problems. And the third reason is the people who constitutes the consulting world. This is all very bright people. They are all working with a teamwork mindset, which is the way I work. And always the ecosystem in the consulting world is a very supportive system where the growth and the learning curve is very high.
Okay, that is what you got from the friends' discussion. What is your own opinion about it?
My own opinion, for me, it's a perfect fit fit to challenge myself into a challenging environment. It's a fast-paced project environment where every couple of weeks we have to change, we have to be part of a team, a different team, but also we are tackling different subjects throughout the year. So for example, every 6 weeks, I will be changing a complete industry and applying a different practice. So it's always challenging, it's always interesting, it's always curious. And this is the nature of who I am. I would, for me, it is a perfect fit in terms of applying my skills and having my motivation applied.
So every 6 weeks, every 8 weeks, the project will change, industry will change. In the past, have you showcased any time that you are comfortable with this kind of change, this kind of steep learning curve? Do you have any instance that you want to share?
Oh, absolutely. For example, when I decided in 2016 to set a new challenge to myself, I was working for a company and I decided to go into entrepreneurship. And I put a new challenge, which is to go into a new market and to establish a new company. So that was the situation. And so for that, I took a kind of a consulting approach, we can say. I decided to really study the problem at hand in a systematic way. First, to understand if the market is attractive, and to see if I can, if it's logical financially. I went 2 times to the UAE to do my surveys. So I first did my data analysis to understand what is the market supply, market demand, the competitive landscape. Then I went a second time to the market to actually act as if I am a client in the industry and go door by door to the different competitors and ask them how much they sell the product and what is, and finding the cost structure through my strategic approach to ask the questions. And after that, once I took the decision to go into the market, I just left my job and I went in this new country. I opened an office, I established the company. I started from scratch. I signed 2 contracts without any staff. I started to recruiting people. And to answer your question, I have managed all the different aspects of the business. So operations, marketing and sales, HR, procurement, design and engineering, marketing, and this multifunctional, multi-practice implementation of my skills is kind of familiar with the consulting world. So that's where I can see there's some alignment with that.
But what's the impact of what you did? I mean, you're telling me you managed it. What do you mean by managed? Can you quantify some of the achievements? Because I think you were saying that you had to close down the business, yeah? So
of course,
that's a success, yeah?
Of course. So we grew up from a yearly revenue from 100,000 euros to 3 million euros in 3 years. So we had a 300% growth year by year. We started with an outsourcing model, and I used wrongly first the value-based pricing, which I adjusted a couple of months after to have a competitive pricing on our products. So we grew very fast. I recruited and coached and mentored all my staff. So after 3 years, we were 27 people with 4 companies we were outsourcing. To answer your question, those are the quantifiable figures. But of course, with the COVID-19, as of February 2020, the market just stopped, and the product offering that we give is a luxury product, and this is not a necessity. So demand has completely stopped, and it stayed down until November, December.
Okay. Last question before we get into a case. What are the challenges that you feel you will face when you join consulting?
Well, the main challenges would be to manage first the different stakeholders at hand, depending on the position. For my position, for example, for which I'm applying as an engagement manager, I will have to manage the expectations of the senior level. I will have to manage the expectation of the clients. I will have to support, mentor, and coach my teams. I will have to build the teams also at the beginning, and this is a major challenge. For each mission, I will have to build each team, and the team will have to be constituted of industry experts, functionality experts, or implementation experts, depending on the projects. So do a quick onboarding, put the people under the same sense of value and shared vision, and tackle the problem solving itself while managing all these expectations at the same time.
Okay, good. Andre, do you have any quick feedback, intermediate feedback on the PR round?
Oh yeah, sure. Thank you very much. So Michel, I will do this as we always used to do with this. So as you know from Ahmad, take it professionally. So therefore, what do you think? How you would assess yourself in terms of the first part of the interview? What were the things which you have done good? Can you maybe highlight them?
Yeah, I would say that presenting myself up to suggesting if we go into a more specific education and professional experience, to that stage I was all right, because this is what is expected in every interview. This is the introduction, so I'll know this one. Then there are the questions of why consulting. I think maybe there was the choice of words at some points were not perfect. The vocabulary was not excellent. I try to structure myself as much as I can with a top-down structure for why consulting. So I gave the 3 different reasons. I necessarily didn't go into each one with 2 sub-points. Maybe I was missing on that. For the leadership role, I think I tried to present with a star approach, but I didn't go into the learning by myself. The interviewer had to ask me about the learning aspect of it. I should have stated the learning before he asked me. I think so. That would be my feedback on myself.
Mm-hmm. And what would you like to improve moving forward?
I think the vocabulary and just the wording of my phrases can be better, I think.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Are you open now to receive the feedback?
Of course.
Yeah. Michel, I want you to get an offer after your first interviews with one of the leading consulting firms, basically with Paris, next one. And I want you to pass successfully through the first round, through the second, through the final round, so that we can congratulate you on your successful achievement. Therefore, sometimes I need to be cruel to be nice. So please take it
yes.
To your biggest challenge. So first of all, I had an impression, generally speaking, that you was not concise. This would have been the feedback which you would probably have received in the real interview. You was not able to fix yourself, and I'm just a little bit surprised because in our individual sessions you was able to be more on the point in the past, and Mark and Ahmad can simply also confirm it from their side. Then with the question like why consulting nowadays, I think that what I have recognized is that you have a very, very long introduction at the very beginning. Then you start saying, I want to go in consulting for 3 reasons. Then you state these reasons, but also the kind of the words you use a lot vary. So you said, I want to solve very big problems. I want to work with very bright people. So you are exaggerating on the things, something, and I mean, you will be interviewed for engagement manager position. You are not an intern. or you're not a junior consultant or business analyst. I mean, there is some more seniority expected also from your side. So please also use the wording accordingly. And please also round your discussion. It's not only about like, what is your motivation, but a better answer. This is a direct actionable recommendation for you is why not just speak directly what kind of the value add you can bring into consulting, and specifically also into BAIN, because in this way you will go even ahead of the question from Gaurav from your interview.
Okay, that was regarding the question that Gaurav asked me, what is personally, why personally you want to do consulting? So that's
right.
In
now,
other terms,
yes.
What are you bringing to consulting? What are you bringing to consulting?
Yeah, so not only like your reasons for consulting, why do you want to do this, but why do you think you could also add value to BAIN and to its clients in future? So this is this would have done your answer even more strong. Then when you explain the story, you messed it up because at some point of time it was extremely. You spoke very long, and it was hard to follow you. I had a feeling that you were speaking too long and you were still not very concise. You still tried to use your star plus L approach, but the better way would be, first of all, you give like a quick spoiler. So in this story, I would like to explain you 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then you apply your star plus L framework, where star plus L stays for explaining the situation, explaining the task, explaining the approach, explaining the results, and which is more important, explaining your learnings. So that Gaurav is not pushed to ask you additional question, like what have you learned? Because otherwise I had just a feeling that if you cannot convince me, you are trying to confuse me.
So you just mentioned that I have to first, before attacking the star approach, I have to set the 5 points. I'm going to speak about the situation. I'm going to speak about what I have, what was the task at hand, what the action I took. I have to say these.
So if you want to highlight the story, which gonna be taking like 3 or 4 minutes of your speech, give a quick spoiler as to every Hollywood film, like quick spoiler, just 1 sentence, and then provide this story in the structured way so that the interviewer is easy to follow you.
Okay,
which
so
contains the situation, the explanation of your task, explanation of your approach, of your results, and of your learnings. For example,
top-down approach.
Always communicate top-down so that and become more concise. So shorten your communication. It's not the monologue from your side. It's the dialogue with the interviewer.
All right. Clear.
Does it make sense?
Yeah, it's cool. It's understood.
Okay. All right. There are just also basically 2, 1 comment, which I also read from in the chart about from Prakhar Gupta about the recording of the webinar. So Prakhar, only those people who will stay until the end of the webinar will get the recording. So thank you very much, guys. I'm no longer disturbing you. Feel free to go to the next stage of the interview.
Just probably I'll add a couple of minutes of feedback and then we'll go forward. Yeah. So the bottom line, if I go top down, as a consultant, I will say basically you were not top down at all in any of the. Okay. Tell me about yourself was flowing like a story. Yeah. Again, you should have started off with a headline and then the explanation. Why consulting? I think all the feedback spot on from Andre. Just one more additional thing, that everything that you were talking about had a base of you talking to your friends, right? It should have been, I want to get into consulting because A, B, and C. Yeah. And somewhere in the A, B, or C, you should have got this, kind of alliance point that, because I know friends, some of these things related to my career strategy, pushing me for consulting, I liking consulting because my personality is like this. And additionally, I have validated it with my friends who are into consulting. So friends or you having already worked with consultant and hence knowing consulting point can be one of the point. It cannot be the base. Yeah. Otherwise, it's like you are hearing from someone and now you are jumping into that career. It comes across like that. You just be careful. Okay. Again, on the story headline, start off with a headline, top down pyramid principles. Okay. I would like to share with you a story where I did XYZ, which impacted A, B, C. Yeah. Concise part and also impact in the headline. Because you spoke for 4 minutes, but I didn't know what exactly you impacted. Right? That's the reason I had to push you to give me an impact. If you don't know the impact, I don't know what to make of all the attempts that you have made. Be ruthless. Top down. Never leave the side of pyramid principles. Always speak top down. Be it in the case, be it in the fit part. Okay?
Yeah, and the fit part in the tell me about yourself, the first question. Also in this, I have to do top down?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Start off with a headline. Make your headline for every answer, at least for all the frequently asked questions. Yeah, and then get into the details. It has to be a layered approach. You cannot tell a story like a bedtime story. Yeah,
all right.
Negative, closed loop communication. Okay.
All right. Clear.
Okay. Get into the case.
Yes, I'm ready.
So the case is in front of you, but still I'll just read it out. BMW wants to grow its business in Asia. One of the market that BMW is contemplating is Bangladesh. Bangladesh's GDP is growing at 5% year on year, and number of people who can afford luxury products are increasing. Currently, the only luxury car car company that is selling cars in Bangladesh is Mercedes-Benz. And they have been in Bangladesh for at least 10 years, for the last 10 years. Okay? The BMW CEO has hired you to find out whether entering Bangladesh is a good idea.
All right. Okay, Gaurav, thank you for the case. So it is clear that the client wants to assess if it is attractive enough to enter the Bangladesh market with its brand BMW, where we have already and only Mercedes as the competitor since the last 10 years. And the GDP of Bangladesh has been growing for the last year to year 5%. And the number of people who are able to buy the product is increasing also from the data. So the client want us to understand if this is a good opportunity to go into this market. So sure. I would like to ask you a couple of questions, if that is possible, to clarify. First, I would like to understand are there specific products or segmentation in the car that the client would like to enter the market? Have they specified already?
No, not really.
Not really. Okay. What is the reason they want to enter this market? What is the exact KPIs or objectives of that endeavor by the client? What are they looking for?
Can you please ask a specific question? Because you asked 3 things. All 3 are actually different. What
is the objective of the client in entering the market?
Objective is growth. BMW wants growth, right?
Okay. And I would assume they're looking for growth in terms of financial growth. Do they have specific targets in financial growth they are looking at into that specific market?
Yes, that's a good question. So yes, they have a financial criteria in mind. So what they are saying is, we would like to enter the Bangladesh market if we can have a break even in 3 years.
A break even in 3 years.
Right.
Okay, in 3 years. And I will assume, since they are not present in the market, so they will have to define if there is an investment to do into this market. Have they decided which strategy to enter the market?
What do you mean by that? That's a very vague question, and it's a complex multiple sentence question. Can you please ask single question?
Do they have an idea of how they're gonna enter the market?
What do you mean by that?
Do they already have a partnership inside the market, or they have a presence in other products in that market?
No, BMW only sells cars, at least let's assume that. Yeah.
Okay.
And they are not there in the market at all.
All right. So I would like to take a minute just to structure my thought. Is that possible?
Yes, absolutely.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. All right, so I would like to have an approach with two main pillars. The first pillar is the market attractive for BMW? Shall they enter this market? And the second pillar is how will they enter this market? In the first pillar, I would like to tackle two sub-branches. First, the market attractiveness. And the second sub-branch, I would like to tackle the financial attractiveness, considering that they want to break even in 3 years, in taking this into mind.
Okay.
Then on the second pillar, on how they will enter the market, I would like to look at the financial capabilities of doing so, and the non-financial capabilities. And under the non-financial capabilities, I would look at the operation and the people and culture. And I would like to start my analysis first by looking at the first big pillar, which is the attractiveness in general, and specifically into the market attractiveness. And under market attractiveness, I would like to first see what is the size of the market, then to look at the market growth, if there's any market growth that we can quantify for the next 5 years.
Okay.
And I would like to look at the pricing strategy for the product.
Pricing is under market attractiveness?
In the market attractiveness, I would look at the market share also. Knowing that Mercedes is already present there, we know that they have 100%. How can we take a part of this share? What are the expectations on that? So I would like first to start with if you agree with the market sizing.
You did not elaborate on financial attractiveness. What do you want to do over there?
On the financial attractiveness, I would like to look first in general at the profitability of the business. And under this profitability, I would like to look at the revenue, potential revenue that we can get from this go-to-market strategy, and look at the cost structure. So by looking at the revenue and the cost structure, I can assess the profitability, and I can assess if I can be breaking even in 3 years.
Okay.
Under the revenue, I will have to look at what are, from my results from the market sizing, what are the projected volumes. And I would put my pricing strategy under here, under revenue. And under cost, I would look at the investment required to enter the market and the operational expenses required also to define my profitability and if I can meet the target of breaking even in 3 years. Is there anything you suggest is missing in this approach?
Let me come to that. Anyone has taken a crack at structure? Any extra point in the chat box?
Yeah, Gaurav, I would like to take a crack. Sachin here.
Can you please turn on your camera, Sachin, and speak?
Hi.
Hi, Sachin. Go ahead.
Hi. Yeah. So, Gaurav, our client's question is, client is asking us whether whether entering a Bangladesh market for selling BMW is a good idea or not. In order to help our client to analyze that, I would like to assess 3 major areas. First is competition analysis, second would be financial analysis, and third would be feasibility analysis. Under competition analysis, I would like to understand 3 major areas, 3 bullet points. First is what is the target segment which the current competitor, which is Mercedes-Benz, is targeting. Second, what is the pricing structure, pricing strategy of our competitor. And third would be what are the features in terms of the product and in terms of the services also Mercedes-Benz is offering currently in the Bangladesh market. So once I have the competition analysis, as you mentioned in the case prompt, market is definitely attractive. I have a good understanding of how the market and competitor will favor my decision or not. Then I will move to the financial analysis. Here I will analyze 3 major areas. First is what is the expected revenue, what is the expected cost structure, and third would be the analysis of the break-even point. Expected revenue I will calculate by considering the probable market multiply by the expected market share that I will be able to achieve in Bangladesh in another 3 years. I will multiply that number by my pricing strategy. I believe that will in most terms will depend upon the what is the prices which Mercedes-Benz has kept in the market, because people have only that number in mind.
I got it.
Then
can you move to feasibility?
Okay, under feasibility, I would like to analyze 3 areas also. First is whether entering the Bangladesh market is in alignment with the overall strategic goal of our client. Second would be, are there any entry barriers which Bangladesh government has kept for people entering into the market in terms of the taxation rate or in terms of the FDI, etc. And third would be, while probably entering a market, will there be any challenges in terms of setting up our own retail stores or getting in contact with the existing dealer network? So this would be my analysis. And unless you have any question at the moment for me, I would like to do the competitive analysis first.
Okay. I think someone else also wanted to volunteer. Paul Abhi.
Yes. Hi, Gaurav. How are you? How's everyone? So if I would target this case, I would mention 3 buckets. My first bucket would be the market opportunity. And within the market opportunity, I would start with the market sizing, the total population of Bangladesh and the income, household income, to see if they can afford BMW or not. And then I would go for the market growth. Now, my second bucket would be the potential share. Within the potential share, I would start analyzing the competitors. Then I would go for the customer needs and the product offering that us BMW would be offering in Bangladesh. For my third bucket would be the potential profit, which is the capital investment we have to put to enter the new market, as well as the running costs and the revenue generated. By calculating that and dividing it by the investment, capital investment, we would get the break-even point by then. And afterwards, we can always mention the capabilities and risk that comes, which is the fourth and last bucket that comes with this analysis. Thank you.
Very good. Very good. Andre, do you have any feedback?
I think you should be also providing the feedback right now and leading the case discussion, because I don't want to give too many hints at this stage.
Okay, cool. So I think quick feedback till the case point, and we'll go to the analysis next, Michel. Okay.
Yeah.
So very quickly from the paraphrasing. Yeah, paraphrasing happened quite word to word. Yeah, you could have reduced it. Paraphrasing in paraphrasing, you need to be a little bit more concise. Okay. Mm-hmm. Clarification question. Yeah, the objective question, I don't know whether that is even needed, because the first line itself talks about BMW wants to grow, and you asking for objective. The very quick red flag can be, listening skills. That means you probably missed the first line. That can be a feedback from the interviewer. Okay, so that question was absolutely not necessary. Yeah, mm-hmm. Good frameworks from all three of you. What I would suggest is, frameworking or case structuring is not a definitive science. So people can, take different approaches, right? However, we need to ensure that we are relevant and VC. Okay. So of course, both the aspect of whether the opportunity is attractive and feasible or not have to be included. So there has to be a feasibility element and the attractiveness element, right? Now, attractiveness element, all three of you actually shaped differently, right? I would rather go with the last approach, which gives me a clear visibility in terms of how I would actually go with the break-even, right? So yes, it includes market, it includes competition, yeah, and it will also include financials, but just the way the third person, what's his name, I'm forgetting, shaped it, I think made me really kind of see how he's going to have a break-even, right? You covered it, Michel, yeah, but you did not cover it in a way that made me comfortable, or I did not get a confidence that you will be able to go to the break-even using your approach. Yeah. Very quick feedback to Paul Abhi. Paul, the framing was good, but not the communication. The communication of the issue tree has to be layer by layer and not branch by branch, because the messiness can only be determined at a level. So it has to be, I would like to cover 4 things: A, B, C, D. Under A, A1, A2, under B, B1, B2, like that. Yeah, you need to go top down in the communication, and to end it the way Michel did it. Yeah, you have to tell me, unless I suggest otherwise, where would you like to start from? Ability to take the hypothesis forward, you have to stress. It's a BAIN interview, it's a BCG interview. It's even more important that you take a lead. If you don't tell me, your independence, your ability to see through the case is not getting established. Okay? So
noted, Gaurav. Thank you.
You did a pretty good job on that front. And I would go with you. In fact, Michel, you wanted to start off with market sizing. Why don't you tell me how would you go with market sizing?
Yes. All right. So I'm going to just take a minute, please, to put my business logic, and I'll come back to you. Is that okay?
Absolutely.
Thank you. All right, Gaurav, I would like to present how I'm going to set the business logic of this analysis for the market sizing.
Okay.
All right. So first, I would try to understand what is the total number of luxury cars in the Bangladesh.
Mm-hmm.
Then I would like to understand what is the total number of cars sold to Mercedes.
Okay.
And then I would like to understand what is the total number of actual people buying per year these luxury cars, the actual transaction.
Okay. How is it playing out? I'm not able to understand. Are you telling me a filtering logic, multiplicative logic? What's the logic?
Okay, so the logic is, for example, can I assume the data, or do you have any data regarding the total number of luxury cars in Bangladesh?
Give me an example, because I haven't understood how you are going to play it. Let's say I have 10 cars that are getting sold.
Let's say there is a market of 1 million cars, luxury cars, sold each year.
Right now.
Right
Just
now.
saying, okay.
Mm-hmm. And like last year, there's 1 million luxury car being sold last year.
Okay.
And this would be our market size, I guess, of luxury cars. Out of this, how many of these luxury cars are sold to Mercedes? Mercedes is buying. This will provide us the market share between Mercedes and the local cars, luxury cars. So we have local.
Michel, there's no other luxury car. There's only Mercedes in the market. It's in luxury segment. It's a monopoly.
It's a monopoly.
Yeah.
All right, and I would like to look at who are the households who have the possibility of having the buying power to buy luxury cars. Who are our target customers? Who can they be? So what is the percentage of these people who represent our potential customers?
Okay.
So I will take the total number of cars and the total percentage of people who are potentially buying these luxury cars.
What is now total cars doing here? Why do you need total number of cars? If you have total number of people buying luxury cars,
yes,
then you want to have the other types of cars in the picture.
Are there other types of cars in the picture?
Why do you want them? Why do you want to start with total number of cars?
No. Only total number of luxury cars, I mean.
Okay. So total number of luxury cars is something that we'll start with. Then
we would have the growth of this through the years. So we can assume it's 5%. And then the market share, since it's a monopoly, what is the expected market share that we can penetrate into this 1
market
million?
share we are not yet on. Yeah, we are still on market sizing. Okay. And probably market share is something that we'll need to calculate. Yeah. Okay. Any other person wants to take a crack at market sizing? Someone who has not participated till now? Anyone?
I think I can share my idea. The number of people, so the population, also then the number of cars per, let's say, 1,000 people or per 100 people in the country. The share of luxury cars over the total market of cars or over the total car industry. And I would also like to know the replacement or purchase rate, or how many years it takes for people in the country to change the car, basically. Yeah.
Very good. Okay, so you're going completely bottom up. Anyone else want to take a crack?
Yeah, I think that here is. Yeah, I think that here it is also important to see not just how many cars are sold, but how many people can afford these cars.
Okay.
So I will start seeing like what is the average of the price of a BMW car or a Mercedes-Benz that is the competition, and see, yeah, like how many people like earn or have earned more than that or have access to the money
Okay.
that can afford these cars, and then
So
keep going.
you will add affordability element to it. Okay.
Yeah.
Who else?
Gaurav, Sachin here.
Sachin,
I just
you wait for a minute, let others participate. Yeah. I'll come back to you. Anyone else?
Yeah, I mean, I could share my approach. So I went from the population. I would like
Tim, could you please fix your microphone, speak a little bit louder, and also turn on your camera so that we can both see and hear you well? Thanks.
Yeah, I did, but seems like, I mean, there were some technical problems. Is it better now?
Yeah, a little bit better, but just maybe speak a little bit louder.
Our voice can be louder.
Right. Okay, so I would take the population and multiply that with the penetration rate of luxury cars, the current penetration rate of luxury cars, to obtain the number of luxury cars right now. I would multiply that with a growth rate, which we assume, to get to the number of luxury cars. And then I would have a look at the replacement rate to get to the number of cars per year, luxury cars.
Understood. Okay. Yeah. Sachin, you have anything else or something?
Yeah, something different. Yes, I believe that everybody will be able to give the top-down approach of population and income levels and the affordability, etc. But can we position this problem as we know from the database there is only one player in the market, Mercedes-Benz, who will know his how many number of cars he is selling every year, or maybe let's say last year or in last few years how much he has been able to sold, and just on an average understood that he will be able to capture 30% of the market, 50% of the market. Just divide that number by 50%. That will give you the overall market. I mean, I'm just asking whether can this be an approach?
Okay, let's come to that.
If I have a question, please. It's not really an idea, but it's just a question. We don't have to go before to see the luxury market in general. The penetration of the luxury market in general in Bangladesh, to see the penetration and growth of luxe in general in this country, before going to a study about luxury cars and see how many people can afford and multiply that by the growth. Just to see before going to the luxury car markets, going up before from the luxury market in general, to see the penetration of the luxe in Bangladesh and how people tend to luxe in Bangladesh.
Okay. Yeah, Omar, you want to go, and then I'll take over.
Yes, thank you, Gaurav. So mainly just before going in, do we want it in the number of cars or the value in dollars?
Good question. So number of cars.
Right.
I'm happy.
So, great. There are mainly two ways to tackle this. So we can go for it from a supply approach or from a demand approach. Now, from a supply, it would mean that we can look at Mercedes, since they are the only company in the market, and see what mainly would be their capacity and the utilization. But I don't think that would be really accurate. So I would prefer going for this from a demand approach to see how many people actually can and want to buy a luxury car and the number of those per year. So mainly we need three things here: the number of luxury cars, the replacement rate, and to take into account the growth. So I would like to start from the population, determine the number of households, since mainly cars are owned by households, not by direct individuals. Then I would look at those in the high income. How many cars do they have and how many of these cars are luxury cars? the replacement rate of this to see how much time it would need them to replace this car. And finally, by adding all this together, we have the number of cars both per year. Then we can account for the growth in this in order to find out how this would turn out every year. And if we want this in the value of the market, we would multiply the number by the price of the average price of a luxury car, and we can have the market size in Bangladesh. Does that sound reasonable?
Yeah, very good, very good. Okay, cool. So let's go ahead in this way. Yeah. So of course we can go completely bottom up, guys. Yeah. But don't forget we are talking about an absolute monopoly here. Yeah. For the last 10 years, Mercedes is the only player. So basically, currently, if you see the Mercedes sales, yeah, is the market, right? Apart from the replacement rate and new riches who might actually come up with a luxury market. Yeah. So of course we can go absolutely bottom up, but in a specific business situation like monopoly, yeah, you should be able to identify that the monopoly player, yeah, and the size of that, yeah, can be a very good proxy to start with. Okay. And to the point that Omar pointed out, please, if it's a market sizing, please clarify what's the unit in which you want to calculate this, or the interviewer wants you to calculate this before even you get into the analysis. Okay. So, Michel, we have only 3 numbers for you to operate on. Yeah. Tell me, how would you juggle with these numbers? What assumptions will you take, and how would you calculate the market size? The 3 numbers are is sold 10,000 cars in this market over the past 10 years. This is one fact.
Okay.
Another fact that we understand from the industry report is that existing owners of luxury cars replace their car every 10 years.
They replace the cars every 10 years.
Every 10 years. And third fact that we know from the market research is that Bangladesh market gets 1,000 new luxury car buyers every year.
Okay.
Imagine that you have only these 3 data points to operate with. Yeah. How would you play with them? What assumption would you take? And what's the yearly market size in terms of number of luxury cars?
All right. So since we have a total number of sales done by Mercedes, which has the only monopoly in Bangladesh for a total of 10,000, and also having 1,000 new customers each year, we can say that year 0, where we had 0 cars sold, year 1 we had 1,000, year 2 we had another 1,000.
Yeah, so you're assuming equal distribution, basically.
Yes, and we know that they are replacing their cars only every 10 years. So we don't have a cumulative addition of 1,000 throughout those first 10 years. The only additional 1,000 will come in year 11. So from year 1 to year 10, we have 1,000 cars sold each year, which sums to 10,000 years. So 10,000 cars, sorry. So we can say that we have 0 growth during 10 years time frames.
Right. But what's the market size at this point of time that BMW should be considering?
BMW should consider a size of 1,000 cars per year. For
coming only out of replacement. What about the new buyers?
For the last year, for year 10, for year 11, I would have 2,000 cars. For year 12, I would have 3,000 cars, and for year like that until for the next 5 years. Because the people, I'm sorry.
Why 3,000 in year 2? For year 12?
All right. The people in year 1 who bought 10 years ago, they are changing their cars in year 11.
Right.
So they add to the new ones. In the year 12, then we would have only 2,000. So it will be 2,000, 2,000, 2,000.
Right. Basically, 2,000 is the yearly market size that we should be considering. Yeah.
Exactly. Yep.
Okay. Cool. Take it forward. So, what do you want to do next?
So I would like now to take it to the next stage to understand what is our possible market share.
Mm-hmm.
So here in this market, we have a monopoly. And how many? We have 1,000 new customers each year within those 2,000. So we can assume that we can take 50% of this market share.
Okay. Mark, Michel, think about it. If we have to assume it, this is a market entry, yeah? Can we assume something like something big, something important like this?
No, we can assume that it's gonna be how we say, an incremental growth in the market share.
No, my point.
Yes.
Does market share need to be assumed?
Does market share need? We need to understand how
that we want to take.
Do we have similar business scenarios in other countries with different monopolies where we have seen a new entrant catching of a market share? What would be the data?
Yeah, so that is drawing parallel. Let's say I don't have that at this point of time. Yeah.
All right, so I can assume an incremental growth of market share from 5% to 50% for the next 10 years. So we can say that year one, we can have a 5% market share, year two, 10%, year three, 15%. So we're growing at 5% with the GDP growth.
Right. But see, I mean, these are just numbers, yeah. You can say 5%, you can 6%, 7%, whatever you want, yeah. But this is not data backed. My point is, do we really have to assume market share, or can we arrive at a market share? We are targeting a break even.
We're targeting a break even. Okay, all right.
Yeah.
So yes, I understand.
You take another approach.
Yes, of course. So since the client is targeting a breaking even, I would try to first understand what is the cost of entering the market.
Right.
What would be the capex required, and what would be the opex required for the next 3 years? Would you have this data?
Absolutely. So please take down the data.
Yes.
The initial investment expected is $7 million.
Okay.
And for the sake of simplicity, you can assume it that it will depreciate over 3 years. Yeah.
Okay.
We can use it in the break-even period, basically. And variable cost per car is like this: manufacturing, $20,000. Transportation per car. Yeah.
Okay.
Transportation is 120% of the manufacturing cost, 120%. Okay.
Okay.
Import taxes are 95% of manufacturing and transport together. And SG&A is 12% of manufacturing, transportation, and import taxes together.
All right. Okay. All right. I would like to take a minute just to put my calculation on paper for the first 3 years. Would that be okay?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
All right. So $7 million we have at capex first year. We have a manufacturing cost of $20,000 per car.
$7 million is not the capex for the first year. $7 million is the initial investment. Okay.
Yes, the capex.
Depreciate over 3 years.
Yes. depreciated over 3 years. So we have 2.3 depreciation every year, 2.33, 2.33, 2.33. All right. Our equation for manufacturing is 20,000 per car. We don't know yet what is the number of cars, which is the number we need to define in our equation. The operation is 100% of manufacturing. So it's 120% of 20,000 cars. So it's $22,000 per car.
It's not 22. 20% of 20 is
24,000.
Yes.
Dollars per car. 95% for import tax of 1 plus 2. So 95%, it's $19,000 plus 10% of this. So 24,000. 2400, 2200 fait 23,800, 22,800. So it's 22,800 plus 19,000.
Yeah, you can approximate. Yeah.
Yes. And for the SG&A, it would be the sum, 12% of the sum of the three. So we would add the three. So 20 plus 24 plus 22.8 plus 19. So 20 and 20, 40, 60, 80, 82, 86. So we have around 85,000 and 12% of it, which is around around $10,000 for SG&A per car.
Yeah.
So from here, I'm sorry?
What's the total cost per car?
So the total cost per car is 20,000 plus 24,000 plus the 22,800, which I'm gonna round to 23 if it's that okay with you.
Yeah.
Plus 19 plus 10. So yeah. 44 plus 23 plus 29. 7, 6, 1, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So it's around $96,000 per car.
Perfect. What's the next step? What do you need from my side?
From your side, I have the operational expense, I have the capex expense, then I have the pricing. I need to understand what would be the pricing point of this car.
Good point. So let's assume $100,000.
$100,000 per car.
Yeah.
So in order to break even in 3 years, I would put my equation as follows. I would put the total volume of cars sold during the 3 years times 100,000. So V would be my unknown, and it should be equal. So V is the 3 years. It should be equal to the capex, which is 7 million.
Mm-hmm.
Plus the 96,000 divided by number of cars. Total number of cars is over the 3 years is the V also. So plus V times $96,000 minus the depreciation over the 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
The depreciation is taxable, of course. Is it taxable?
Don't consider any other tax or interest complexity. Let's use 7 million straight 3-year depreciation.
Okay. So we have a 3 years depreciation, and we have 7 million in capex, and we have the total number of cars sold during those 3 years, which is the V that we assumed for the other side of the equation, times 96,000. I would reduce The depreciation, is it a linear depreciation? And what can we assume in terms of, it's a 30% depreciation per year, so we say 33% is.
You don't need all these complexities.
You don't need this. All right. So, okay. So I would have 100,000 V should equal to 96,000 V plus 7 million. So I would 100,000 V minus 96,000 V should equal to 7 million. So I have 4,000 V equals 7 million. So my number of cars that should be sold during those 3 years to break even is 7 million divided by 4, which is, I need to sell 2,333,000 cars.
No. 7 million divided by 4,000, Michel.
I'm sorry, by 4,000. Yes, by 4,000. So I need to sell 2,333 cars.
No, something is not right. It's 7 million by 4,000.
7 million divided by 4,000, which is 7,000 divided by 4.
Yeah.
Which is 2,333.
How is it possible? It has to be lesser than 2.
I think you need to multiply 4,000 by 3 because it's per year. You want to multiply that?
No, that is not needed. 7 million divided by 4 or 7,000 divided by 4, it should be somewhere around 1850.
7 divided by 4.
1750.
Yes.
1750.
Yes,
Could you please stop interrupting as well as PRE? So we are still in the interview model. So please, Michel and Gaurav, conduct the interview further. We will discuss your questions afterwards.
Yes, so 100,000 V minus 96,000 V equals 4,000 V.
Yeah.
Which should be equal to 7 million. So V should be equal to 7 million divided by 4,000 or 7,000 divided by 4, which is 1,750. This is the total number of cars that should be sold for the next 3 years in order to be breaking even.
Right. And which is what percentage of the market?
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you.
Which is what percentage of the market? So what's the market share that BMW needs to get?
So it needs to be knowing that the next 3 years, the total number of expected cars would be 6,000 with 2,000 each year. So the total market share is 1,750 divided by 6,000.
Mm-hmm.
So we are around the 20 divided by around 30%, more or less.
Good.
Market share. This is the target market share that we need to attain in order to justify the investment and the target specified by the client.
Good. That's an accurate number. My question to you is,
yes,
what will give the confidence to the BMW CEO that he will be able to achieve 30% market share? What kind of analysis would you do as a consultant to give him that confidence?
Well, I need to understand if it's feasible.
Absolutely. So what are those feasibility analysis that you need to do?
So I would divide my feasibility analysis into 2 main pillars. First, the financial feasibility. Are they capable of investing the 7 million and to support this operational expense for the next 3 years? That's one thing. And I will look at the non-financial feasibility of going through this endeavor on 2 different aspects, on the operational and the people and culture. And on the operational, I would look at the value chain to understand.
So what I suggest is that is the operational ramp up, financial, let's keep it out. My point is, the concern I think the BMW guy would have is will I be able to make and sell 1750 in 3 years? My point is that, how can we give them a confidence that whether they can actually make it 30% or not? What sort of data points, what sort of analysis will help him over there?
The data that he would need is, does the demand will drive this sell? Is the demand justifying the entry?
Okay, but demand, overall demand we know already, which is size. So what
Yes.
demand are you specifically talking about?
The distribution centers, the agents. We will have a partnership on the ground to take those cars and sell them.
What else?
And also we will have the marketing and sales capability locally to promote our products.
Mm-hmm.
And we will have the service, after sales service support to our client in order to keep this market share and not damage our brand through the years.
Okay.
And to bring and to build the loyalty within our customer base.
Okay. Okay. Cool. Let's take a pause here. Okay.
All right.
I see some of the questions, some of the answers are coming, but we'll address that. Michel, what do you have? Do you have any questions for me at the end of this interview?
Yes, please, Gaurav. I would like to understand, since you've been working at BAIN, what is the work you are most proud of?
Okay. Assume that I've answered it. What else? Do you have any other questions?
Since you've been working at BAIN, what is the project that you had the most impact on as a leader or as a team member?
Isn't that same as the first question?
No, because you can be proud of, this is more specific.
Okay. Okay, cool. Let's assume that I answered it. Yeah, let me just open the floor for feedback if Andre has any.
All right.
Andre?
Yes. Well, basically, how shall I phrase it? I will be, again, brutally honest and transparent with you. I think that it was pretty hard and challenging. I felt like he was a little bit confused with the case, or maybe he was not self-confident. It was hard for me to see whether you can really lead this case. At least I didn't feel that he was leading the case. He actually led the interviewer to lead this case and give you many hints. He was not deriving the hypothesis, and you was not actually testing it with your approach and going like line by line. So this is from the process standpoint of view. Secondly, you haven't clarified many key insights. That's why Gaurav was basically interrupting you and asking the audience to brainstorm again to help you out with this. This was exactly the reason, in order to generate additional insights which can help you to lead the case. I also spent quite a lot of time on math, and it was not 100% correct. So either you should have spent probably 30 seconds more to make sure that your math is correct, because they are not looking for how long does it take, unless you are spending like too excessive amount of time, but the math exercise should be correct. And you haven't generated many key insights, which Gaurav will now highlight into that discussion. Last but not least, to be mentioned that your questions were not up to the point, and the way how you actually provided it. I think that your energy after you have, you was not on top of the stage tonight. Generally speaking, I have seen you in a way better performance. Probably it's just too late for you. I don't know. And speaking in front of 40 people whom you don't know.
No, I'm okay with that. That I don't have a problem with.
That's a tricky thing. Yeah. Nevertheless, Michel, I actually, before to provide you with the greatest feedback, I would like to everyone make, again, guys, could you please turn on your cameras and still give an applause to Michel for him doing a great job, and he was doing it for you. So, basically, Michel, applause.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you very much for your performance. Nevertheless, again, I'm brutally honest with you. So I will say you, my congratulations, Michel. You have failed the first interview round with BAIN, and this has never happened because in the real interview, we will make sure that you will pass it.
Perfect. Thank you, Andre. Thank you, Gaurav.
Okay. All right, Gaurav, I give the word back to you, and we also have a couple of questions in the chat. It would be good if we can address them.
Absolutely. I think I have been giving the kind of orientation and feedback all along in the case, right? I think, and you nailed it, Andre. I think Michel probably had an off day today, and you were not on top of the case, Michel, at all. Yeah, you did not get the grip of the case. What the problem was, kept on slipping out of your hand for sure. Yeah. So a lot to improve on for sure, no doubt about it. And just one funny point at the end, the couple of questions that you asked me, I think they need to be really different from each other, because otherwise it's just repeating the same answer. It doesn't cross as you have researched well enough on the BAIN if you ask the same question again and again.
Is it possible that I ask for a couple of questions at the end? Or normally it's one question? Yes.
Mostly people, the interviewers are trained to ask at the end, do you have any questions? And I think it's a golden opportunity for everyone, because don't forget, this is the last interaction. After that, the interview is over and they are going to write your review sheet. So you really want to ask something interesting and make an impression that you are well researched, you are really interested in this particular job. All these opportunities, you need to grab, and you need to prepare for the last two questions as well. Okay? Good. So let's take on the questions that, if there are any, in the chat box. Lena, would you be able to moderate those questions?
Yes, sure. Just not sure because Andre answered on some of them. So, Andre, from which one should I start? Can you please help me with this?
All right. So I would then suggest to start with 1928, your time zone, Sachin Gala. Give the word to him to ask his questions. Oh, okay. Sachin is already leaving the room, so next one.
Okay, 1 second.
All right,
can I ask a general question?
If you have questions, just raise your hands, turn on your cameras. And Paul, the question.
Yeah, hi. Andre and Gaurav, thank you very much for today, and thank you for hosting. My friend Mark told me to come here, and I'll be in touch with you guys very soon. Regarding the case, I would like to, regarding the consulting subject that we were talking about, I was mentioning to Mark the other day that, is there an age limit for someone to become a consultant? Yes or no? Because there was this person who told me that you need to apply during your MBA, because after the MBA, your odds get extremely low. Is that true or not? Because, like all people have their own theories, and I want to know the harsh truth from the end. So I would appreciate it if you can answer me this question. I'm 33, by the way. I'm kind of old, so I'm scared that I might be a little bit old for consulting.
So you don't look First of all, so compliments on your health and the looks, and just to answer the question straight, there's nothing like that. Absolutely, I've seen people who have entered consulting after like 15, 20 years of experience, and that too not in the expert career track, but a generalist career track. Right from my batch, some of my friends also who joined, who were like, one of my friend was head of marketing strategy for a big company, and post that he joined as an associate with McKinsey, right? So it's absolutely nothing to do with the age. You can actually enter consulting anytime, as long as you are able to speak and walk, you can actually be a consultant.
Well, I have one more question. I am in my final round for an interview at Alvarez & Marsal. And what do you think about internships? It's in June. And what they told me is that they will put me at the bottom of the pit and I'll have to climb my way through. This is what the interviewer told me. So do you have any advice for internships and how does it go over there? Because I want to shine in front of all the interns. I'm not going to lie to you. So what do you have any advice for me?
So that advice will not be able to give probably in a minute. But as you are going to get back to us, we'll probably have a longer discussion on that. Being a star intern is something we can, of course, we can also kind of discuss with you, right? And A&M, it's a great company. They are the transformation experts. A lot of my McKinsey friends have also joined in A&M. So internship is a good idea. But of course, I think A&M also has a very low conversion rate into full time. So you need to really, really perform well.
Yeah.
Thank you, Gaurav. Thank you, Andre.
Maybe just in order to add to your questions, look at Michel. He is even older than you are, and he is going to interview basically just next month. So I think this is the best answer to your question, number one. And in terms of number two, I can also share my personal experience. I was able to perform very well, which helped me to get a full-time offer after my internship. And therefore, the internship is the best way to break into consulting industry, because you have nothing to lose. You can only do your best. And in the best case, Karl Saliba has actually also completed the program which we are calling Get Ready for the First 100 Days, which basically helps him to develop the skills of becoming a star consultant. Or in your case, you can become a star intern and secure the full-time offer right at the end of your internship. And the other benefit of internship is that instead of doing 3 interview rounds to get the full-time offer, you only need to do the first interview round successfully to get the internship offer. So the hurdle is basically like just 30% of the way, and the outcome could be really great. But let's discuss this all in more detail later on. Feel free to contact one of our client managers right after the webinar so that we can have a fruitful discussion. Alina, people are waiting for your gifts, for your presents.
Yes, sure. Guys, I want to ask you, please fill our webinar satisfaction survey. I will send it right now in our group chat. So please, it's really important for us, and every time we try to be better and better, and you can really help us. And if you have any suggestions for us how we can improve, this will be extremely valuable for us. So we will give you a little bit of time so you can fill this form. And please, we really appreciate it a lot. Okay, and also those who stayed with us until the end, you will receive some goodies. So first of all, it's a presentation of our webinar, and also the video recording of the webinar. And if you have any questions and you want to discuss your current situation with us, you can contact me or my colleague Olesa. I will send you now links for our Calendly, and so you can book a free call with us, and we will be happy to answer on all your questions and help with your situation. And so I will also send these links in a follow-up message. Yes, also you can see here the promo code which you can use when you will book your call with me and Teresa. So this promo code will help you to have a discount for your first session with our coaches. So you can use this promo code. I will also write it in your follow-up message, and you can use it when you will book your call. And also we're happy to announce you our new webinars, which will be on March. So you can see that there will be every Wednesday. On the 3rd of March, it will be a strategy and first round interview simulation. Then on 10th of March, it will be Roland Berger first round interview simulation. Then on 17th of March, currently first round interview simulation. And the last one is Oliver Wyman on 24th of March. And time will be the same, so from 5 till 7 Central European time. We'll be happy to see all of you there. And I will also share with you link for the registration. And also you can follow us on our social medias, and there we share a lot of useful information for your preparation. And also you can check our website. So if you have any more questions, I'm sure that you will find all the answers there as well. And you can check our social medias. We really share there a lot of useful information and for the preparation, and also from some tips and tricks how you can improve your preparation and your career in the future as well. And I want to say thank you all of you guys for participation today, and that you were so active, and we're really happy to see all of you here today. And thank you a lot. I wish you good luck and wish you success in this year to finally have your offers.
Yeah, thank you very much, Alina. And also I would like on my hand to say a big thanks for everyone participating here. I would especially highlight, so use the chance to get in touch with our managers, Alina and Alessa, to book a free consultation call with them and to see how our company, how we can help you to get your future offers in consulting in 2021. And also feel free to visit our website in order to register for our future upcoming webinars, where we are going to simulate the interviews with all major consulting firms in March with Kearney, Roland Berger, Strategy, and others. And yeah, I would like to say a very, very big thanks again one more time to Michel, who has volunteered today for cracking the tough nut together with us. And
thank you, everyone.
This is a good practice with you. I'm pretty sure that you will become more confident and even more familiar with the whole process, and we are very committed to help you to master that challenge and to convert your interview into the actual McKinsey offer or the offers from other leading consulting companies in that spring. And I would also like to say a big thanks to Gaurav for being an expert. I would like to say a big thanks to the team for hosting this webinar, and for our clients, and for all of you participants for being part of this great show. So we are very committed to deliver the very best results to you and to help you to get your offers this year. So thank you very much, and see you soon.